There are countless weight loss supplements crowding the shelves, each promising miraculous results. It's time to cut through the noise and uncover the truth about these supplements. As a mature woman, your health is not just a priority, it's a necessity. In this video, I'll deep dive into your complex, marvelous human body and how to support it to manage weight naturally. And when it comes to targeting belly fat, I've got you covered with that too. Say goodbye to confusion and hello to clarity in your quest for a healthier, slimmer you. And if you're new here, I'm Dr. Gayla Gorman, a licensed acupuncturist, naturopath, and author of What's Your Kryptonite? On this channel, I'm here to help you reverse the effects of chronic stress so that you can cruise through menopause symptom-free, so that you can put an end to menopausal weight gain and the fat that comes along with it. Let's start by just taking a look at how effective weight loss supplements really are. So, in order to lose weight and keep it off, our body needs to become metabolically flexible. And so if we are using any sort of supplement to interfere with that process, it might help a bit in the short term, but it is not helping us become metabolically flexible. In fact, it may actually make the situation worse. And then if you discontinue using those supplements, it's just going to make it more challenging to reverse the additional damage that's been done. If you think about it, hunger is just a hormone signal. And so when our body is hungry, it's really just a way that our internal signaling is telling us that our sugar stores are getting low. If we don't sort of feed into that narrative, then our body turns to stored fat for fuel. That's what we want to happen anyway, right? And so it's really important that we learn to recognize that hunger signal and not respond to it immediately. And definitely don't respond to it with some sugary snack or some carby artificial snack that came out of a box, because all that's really going to do is further confuse your body. You might give it a spike that it needs just for a moment just to shut the signal up, but you've really continued to kick the can down the road for this healing that needs to happen. A much better way to think about it is to say, okay, I've been fasting for a period of time, so it's natural. It was planned, if you will, that my body will hit the end of the road with the just natural sugar that it had on board. Our body runs on sugar as fuel. If we have been fasting, then it's just easy to say, okay, let's see if I can push my fast another hour or 2 or 3 or 4. And so I will say that there is a certain point in time with fasting where it puts too much stress on your body, and especially for mature women, if that stress is beyond what is considered sort of a natural hormetic stress, then it can actually contribute to additional adrenal fatigue, further exacerbating that problem, and that will tend to make belly fat accumulate, which is obviously going to sabotage your efforts, right? So fasting is a powerful tool to use, but it has to be used wisely, and you really need to kind of understand what's happening with fasting and what the signs are that you are using it effectively, or that potentially you have pushed it beyond the outside bounds of reason. Let's just now dig into these natural supplements for weight loss. So the first thing you may have heard about is green tea extract. The good news with green tea extract is that it tends to help with removing toxins in your body. It has good antioxidant properties, and green tea generally has less caffeine than some of the other weight loss supplements that you may have encountered. And so green tea would probably be the less offensive weight loss supplement to try. The supplements that do include really high levels of caffeine can really cause a lot of damage where adrenal fatigue is already an issue. So you want to be really mindful of that. Anytime you're turning to energy drinks regularly or any sort of highly caffeinated beverage, espresso, that sort of thing, if you're using that sort of thing regularly, that is making the problem worse. So it's also going to potentially be pretty challenging to wean yourself off of it, but that's definitely what you need to do. Another thing you may have found if you've been poking around looking for weight loss supplements is Garcinia cambogia. This herb is naturally used as a preservative in Asian countries, but it has been shown to create liver toxicity. So you definitely want to be careful when you are introducing any herbal supplement that it isn't further making problem worse. If you think about it, one of the reasons why weight management has become difficult and fat may be accumulating is because your liver has become toxic. So you definitely don't want to be doing anything that is creating more liver toxicity. One of the other things that's kind of been tried recently is exogenous ketones. So the keto diet makes endogenous ketones, but people try to use exogenous ketones, meaning consuming ketones, as a way to hack the system. And I'll just tell you that if it's a system hack, it probably isn't going to get the job done, certainly not long term. And what you really want to establish is a way for your body to be able to manage weight and keep the excess fat off naturally. Calorie restriction may seem like the answer too, but it's a race to the bottom and it causes stress and your body just adjusts to running on fumes. So if we can't use herbs and supplements long term and calorie restriction isn't going to work, we're really going to need to deal with the stress that's actually creating the problem in the first place, right? So this is an example of one of the countless ways that stress is creating symptoms and other health issues, especially during menopause. I created a video that shows you how to eliminate menopause symptoms naturally, so I'll make sure to link to it below this video, but make sure you hit subscribe too, because I share a lot of tips when it comes to dealing with stress that's become toxic. Relieving the nasty symptoms stress creates makes navigating through menopause a breeze. What are some of the best natural supplements that actually will help to support your body as you're trying to remove some of this excess belly fat? You just need to understand that fat loss is really 100% related to your liver and how well your liver is able to use the fat stores. And so some of the best supplements are going to really just help your body's liver and pathways of elimination work better. You want to make sure that you're not using any herbal supplement in any sort of dose that is unsafe, and also that you're not using an herbal supplement that is conflicting with something else that you're on. So this is one of the reasons why it's really helpful to get a professional involved and then make sure that you let your professional know what you're taking, including medications, including other supplements. Really, this issue with belly fat comes down to your pathways of elimination working properly. And we know that our body is going to adjust to the amount of fuel that we're giving it. So if we're not reducing calories and we are just counting on our body to burn more fuel efficiently, including the fuel that it's stored in the past because it had a toxic buildup, then just supporting our liver and kidneys to be able to do that is really important. And that is really going to require that we free up some resources if our liver is already on overdrive, just trying to detox different sort of toxins that have built up in our body, then that doesn't leave a whole lot of excess resources to work with. Essentially, our body is trying to decide, am I going to handle this or am I going to handle that? And it says, well, you know what? I can just store this fat along with these excess toxins over here, and I'll get back to it later. And the problem is that because we've got so much coming in for our body to deal with every day, that it basically never gets back to it. But at some point we do need to mobilize that toxicity and then move it out, because if you mobilize the toxicity and you just put it back into circulation, it could land somewhere that actually ends up being worse than where your body had stored it in the first place. So it's really important that you take this process seriously, and that if you are trying to manage your weight, that you work with your body and you understand how your body must have struggled if it allowed the weight to accumulate. And so the best thing you can do for it is to just give it a little bit of a rest, give it a break, and support the efforts to heal. Your body is incredibly powerful, well-oiled machine most of the time if it has not become overwhelmed with toxicity. So let's just take a breath and reduce the stress levels. And that includes not just the stress that you think of when we're commonly considering stress, but you're actually thinking about the toxic stress. I evaluate 12 categories of toxicity, and then we initiate a human energy system reset to help support our body as it clears some of that excess toxicity out. And if your best efforts to live a healthy lifestyle and do all the things you've been led to think are supposed to work aren't getting the job done, you may even be feeling like you take 2 steps forward and 3 back. In my next video, I'll show you how to hit the reset button on your human energy system intentionally. Toxic stress is draining your energy and sabotaging your efforts. You can eliminate the symptoms that seem to be piling up in midlife naturally without medication, crazy diets, intense exercise, or any other unsustainable lifestyle hack. Just hit the reset button. I'll show you how.